All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Keys of Currency. Today, I got a very special guest for you guys. This guy is somebody that specializes in mobile homes. He is a mobile home investor. He is the trailer park king. He does his stuff nationwide. He is a problem solver for park owners. And today, we're going to have a conversation with him and learn some of these strategies and also learn about him. So without further ado, please help me welcome Mr. Jose Garcia. Jose,
Thank you.
what's up, bro?
Beautiful day. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Excited to be here. Excited to have this conversation. So first thing I like to ask people, man, is can you give a little bit of a background, introduce yourself?
Sure. So, like I said, my name's Jose Garcia. So, I've been investing in mobile homes for 7 years. Prior to is, I actually have a background in logistics. So, I was
Okay.
conversating. So, it's the corporate side of the world. A ladder that I thought I could climb and become very successful, wealthy, as I think a lot of people think so, only to come to find out it became harder, more hours work, and less pay somehow. So I saw that was not the way to go. So I've always had this idea of real estate somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. Just I've always thought I want to invest in real estate or be a landlord or whatever it may be. Of course, you watch plenty of TV shows that make it look easy.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder than it seems. But a background even further for me is, I don't come from a wealthy family. It's actually something that is, I'm a first generation entrepreneur. And so getting into the whole real estate idea, the more I looked at it, the more I thought, that's not for me. That's way too much money. And people would say, that's a great deal. But I would think, yeah, I don't have those funds.
Right.
And even if I came up with the funds, it's like, then they were talking about rehabbing and material. And I was like, okay, that's definitely not going to happen. So I struggled a pretty good bit starting out, a few months, and really got to the idea of this ain't for me. Maybe that's why everybody does not do it. You hear it's like, if it were easy, everybody would be doing it. But anyway, so I almost gave up on the idea until somebody said, deal with mobile homes. Just in passing, and I thought, I grew up in a mobile home, so I knew how to live in one, not rehab one. But I thought, well, let me check them out. And sure enough, I started doing my research, which at the time, there was not as much with mobile homes education as there is today. I contribute to that now, but something that I really pushed forward to, looked into, and made many cold calls, what we call, got many no's go away, and finally there was a yes that struck. So, that was my first venture into, okay, let me go see if I can do.
Yeah.
I didn't have any knowledge, any education in this. I'm not a contractor. I wasn't licensed for this. All I had was persistence to get it done. Kind of thing. So I started out with that one mobile home 7 years ago, and again, why a landlord? I don't know. I wanted to be a landlord. I took on that one investment, and I very quickly found out that contractors, as hard as workers as they are, is they don't like to work and they don't like to show up. So I had to go in there, having my corporate world, working a job 60 hours a week, being married, having children. And I was like, what, it's got to get done. It was costing me money. And that's the thing about, real estate or mobile homes is if it's not selling, if it's not renting, it's costing you money. So I said, I have enough handyman skills, and can't be that hard. Replace some floors, paint some walls, I can handle it. Sure enough, I got rid of the contractors many, which I thought I hired, but they never showed up. So I guess they never really hired. I went in there and got it done, and then I hired a licensed contractor to come after me and basically review the work. To my luck, if we're going to call, he said everything checked out. I said, all right. So, put it on the market. But, you're dealing with all these things here, and, mobile homes, unlike real estate, they're not the sexy investment. Right. You already got that anyway. And you got family, and you got friends, and, you're doubting yourself, and they're giving you what is, and it was like, oh my gosh, like, the world is against you. It kind of feels like. So, but I put that home out there for rental, and sure enough, first 2 weeks went by, nobody.
So your first mobile home, your first real estate investment was a mobile home.
Yes.
And was that in a park or was that
in a community? Yep.
Okay. So what made you go to a park instead of just finding one that's on private land?
So part of the little research that I did was finding where are the most mobile homes located. And it just basically came back with trailer parks, community parks.
Okay.
So I thought, well, then let me find mobile home parks and let me just call the owner. I thought it was called an owner. I was calling park managers.
Okay. So you targeted mobile home parks, and then you went in there and you're like, let me talk to the park managers and see if there's any opportunity.
Yeah, basically, I mean, I'd almost love to go back and hear what I was saying because I'm sure it was all wrong. But I was basically asking them, do you have a mobile home that needs rehab I can buy? I mean, from what what I would think, that's what I was asking them. So my goal was to obviously come in, rehab, and resell it.
Okay. And just make money. So why mobile homes? Why not any other asset classes like getting into single family homes or multifamily or storage facilities, land? Why did you decide to stick with mobile homes?
Yeah. So after the first year, I had done 10 mobile homes myself. I rehabbed them all. I rehabbed all 10 of them. I was officially a landlord, and I was in my mind. I still kept thinking, stick though.
What year was this?
7 years ago.
Okay.
2023. So
Yeah.
yes. So I never lost the sight of let me get into duplexes or stick built houses or single family, whatever it was. So, but the more I kept doing these mobile homes and obviously seeing the return on the investments, it was like I was almost like I was saving money to get my first house. I ended up selling my first 10 mobile homes for 10,000 a piece for residents, which was my first. I'd been collecting rent this whole time, but I had an investor buyer who gave me 100,000 cash.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, there it is. I can now take my 100,000, go find a house, rehab it, and flip it.
Yeah.
But then I started thinking, why would I do that with one house when I can take these $100,000 and go get 10 or more mobile homes?
Yeah.
So I started, more and more opportunities started coming for me at that time. And then I started thinking more exit strategies, not just a landlord. So the more exit strategies I found, the more I saw the return on the investments and how safe the investment itself was. I thought, why should I get into houses? I'm not opposed to them, but the returns here, we call mobile homes the low risk, low entry, high reward for a reason.
Yeah.
I just saw it as that this is my field, this is my niche.
So would you consider like what you do a pretty competitive field, or is it saturated?
Oh,
or?
no, not at all. Part of the not sexy real estate investments, and the stigma, I think keeps mobile homes from being overcrowded. There's definitely 7 years later, I teach people how to invest. So obviously I'm contributing to bringing more people in. But, you could still walk into a room and hear about this duplex or single family, or like you say, all these other investments. You almost never hear somebody say, hey, I invest in mobile homes.
Yeah.
It is still a very hidden side to real estate. So no, it is not. I wouldn't consider it a competitor.
Okay. So give me some numbers, man. Like, what is the typical acquisition cost and rehab cost when it comes to buying a mobile home in a park?
Yeah, so studying the market. You got to study the market like you do in real estate. It's all about comparables. You got to take lot rents into account because there's that you have to pay every month for the home sitting there versus rental rates. But once all those numbers check out, I would say I don't go over around 7,000 to 8,000 tops all in. That includes the mobile home purchase. That includes the material, the rehab, the holding, the insurance, everything.
Wow.
I am typically all in under $10,000.
Wow.
So some of these mobile homes, I may get them for 2,000-3,000. Sometimes, the way park owners, and this is where we become partners in a sense, is park owners make money on their mobile homes with lot rent. So if a mobile home is sitting distressed, it is actually costing them money. For them, me coming into their community and saying I can take this mobile home or X amount of mobile homes they have, and I can produce you years to come with lot rent, that is a winning factor for them. Trying to sell me the mobile home for thousands, that's not a winning strategy for them. So many times I get these mobile homes for, legally $1.
And you're able to just turn around and you can, like you said, you can wholesale them.
We wholesale some of them. Depends on how much inventory we have at one point. We wholesale them. We flip them as is. So
you got, it's kind of like the same exit strategy with single family homes as with mobile homes, even if it's in a park.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got different options. Airbnb, you could be a landlord. You could do lease option, rent to own. There's so many different angles that you can take with this. Now, you mentioned earlier when we were walking around that you were turning some of these into Airbnbs. How in the world are you converting these to Airbnbs? Like, to me, it's like when I look at it, I'm like, there's no way that somebody's going to want to go get an Airbnb inside of a park. But you mentioned that you do, and you said, I got numbers to back it up. What does that look like for you?
Yeah, so no, every mobile home park would not qualify for Airbnb.
Right.
So they do have their own guidelines, and so it depends on where the areas are. Where we're currently doing it is we figured out that there was a high demand for housing for hotels' needs. What happened is there's actually a big facility, medical facility, where they bring in nurses and they teach them, train them, whatever, months at a time. And so we were able to get that idea and see some of the Airbnb numbers. The park is obviously very well kept. So that's number one. Parks are great in A, B, C, and D. And obviously, when you get into the C's and D's, that's where you have drug activities, that sort of thing. A's and B's are more residential, nicer communities. So people don't mind living there. It's a community. It's not a trailer park. So if you can find a park like that in the need for, we came in and put that mobile home. We tried it out. We just wanted to see. So we came in and we fixed it up a little better rehab than normal. We staged it, and we thought if it doesn't work out with Airbnb, we can sell it as a complete move-in ready. Everything already in it. So we put it all on there, and immediately people that were coming into saying this will save me a lot of money by not getting a hotel. If I can just get this Airbnb, plus it's a lot of privacy.
Yeah.
So we put it out there, and immediately it started just booking, week after week, month after month. So on average, to answer numbers, I mean, it varies. We have had a couple of days. I don't think we got a full week. It hasn't been occupied. So it stays occupied for the most part, but I would say close to probably around 2,000 net is what we've gotten out of that one single mobile
Of a one mobile home.
Yeah.
And you might have invested $8,000 at most.
That one probably would have been right around 10,000 once you account for all the furniture, everything we put in.
Wow. So I mean, you basically get your money back in 6 months,
give or take,
and then the rest is all profit from there. Now, are you having to go the extra mile in these rehabs when you do these with the Airbnb mobile homes?
Yeah. So with the when you think about exit strategy, is if I'm going to do an immediate flip, we may do a little higher of a rehab. If I'm going to do just a rental, tenants don't take care of things they rent, so they tend to tear them up. So we're not going to go too excessive. Airbnbs, we'll step it up a little bit more in presentability. Because again, everything is reviews with Airbnb, so we want to make sure that when people walk in, they don't see it's a mobile home. Even though it is, it can be very much presentable like a home.
Okay. Do you have cleaners set up and everything in the area?
We do. So that's the thing with Airbnb is you are a landlord on demand. I would say that. You don't have time to I'll fix something that's not working a week later. No, that needs to be fixed immediately.
Yeah.
Cleanup, same thing. It could be whenever somebody leaves, we have somebody coming right back in after them. They have to be ready to come in and clean up. Or if they come in and something is dirty or not to their standard, we'll bring them in and clean them up. So we have people on standby.
Okay, what about the contractor part? Has that been a pain to deal with as well, as far as like making sure the maintenance is good on that?
So part of that, again, it goes to the rehab part. So we do extensive. If we come in and see something, a quick little example, if the floors feel a little soft, things like that are a problem that will come about. Let's go ahead and do that rehab where we're making sure that we cover ourselves the best possible. Things will break, so if that does happen, like I said, we have people, and we have multiple. It's not just one contractor on standby. I think in that area we have over 10 contractors on standby we can call at any given time. So whoever can get there soonest, that's who gets hired for that job.
So how are you finding your contractors and your cleaners?
We use Facebook Marketplace for everything.
Okay.
Everything. We post deals for sale there. We buy from there. We find material. We find contractors, handyman, all from Facebook.
Have you is there high turnover with the contractors?
Yes. So, I have certain crews that have been with me for a while. I have one crew specifically that's been on and off with me since I started. He's a bigger contractor, and wherever I need him, he'll come and handle jobs for me. For the most part, I would say that dealing with contractors and or handyman can be a job in itself. You have to manage them. But, it's all how you manage them, how you hold them accountable, and how you pay them. All those three factors are going to go hand in hand to making sure they stay busy.
Yeah. Have you, so contractors, dude, I'm in the single family space, and contractors can make or break you.
Yep.
They can literally like ruin a deal for you if they're crappy contractors. If you got to go back and redo the floors or repaint the house, that can bust the budget. Do you run into that issue when you're dealing with contractors on these mobile homes where it's like, man, they're such a pain in the ass. Now I got to go back and redo this damn rehab.
So early on, we did deal with something like that. Everything is a learning experience for us. So when I say hold them accountable, every day I want pictures. I want videos. If we're doing a certain set rehab, which means there's a certain budget with it, something pops up. Let's say we take these walls behind us apart and, there's mold. Okay, that's a flag immediately. We need to come to a stop. We need to get on a Zoom maybe and look at it and review it if I can come by and address it. So I stay on this every day so I know we're on the same page every step of the way. Earlier on, we had this issue with this one contractor who he was, I want to call him a photographer because he knew how to edit beautifully. And what he was doing is he was sending me pictures of, hey, I finished this one corner. We had some damages on it, whatever it was. And of course, me earlier on, you have this mentality of I don't want to bother them.
Right.
Which, this is a business.
Right.
Bother is out of the question.
Yeah.
I will call every day.
Yep.
So, but, he sent me these pictures and I'm getting excited. I was like, oh, this looks great. Look great. At random, I decided to let me stop by. I was in the area and see he should be getting done based on what he's showing me. I don't know where he got some of those pictures. But when I walked in, it was day and night. So, needless to say, he was fired on the spot. He could not answer as to why, what it was. Like, yeah, that job cost me double because I had to bring somebody to come in and not only finish the job, but fix a lot of the stuff that he, quotations, did do. So, you will run into that. But again, hold them accountable and just, it's a business. If I work for somebody, it's like, what would their expectations be? Treat it the same way, the opposite way.
So is it pretty much a trial and error, though? Is it like you're just going to have to find that guy, give him a chance, and see if it pans out?
That's the unfortunate side, in a way. Is that, everybody looks good on paper. Everybody sounds great on the phone. They can talk it up and it is what it is, but when it's time to dance, it's like so very few people show up and actually produce.
Yeah.
So, when you find that right crew, keep them. Bring them breakfast.
Right.
It checks out. Go a little extra mile. Pay a little bonus if you need to. Take care of those contractors because they're hard to come by. And it's part of the interviewing them. Is if I get online, if I ask somebody, hey, I have a couple more homes I need rehab. Any contractors in the area, I get a list. Bam, bam, immediately. What I do is I collect phone numbers and I interview them. One of the first things that I don't want to hear, even though it sounds great, is how available are you? How soon are you available? I can start today. That sounds like it's a beautiful thing. That's not, because a good contractor is always busy. So they'll say, "Oh, well, I can get you in a few weeks." I don't want to hear that, but the guy is busy for a reason.
Right.
So things like that. It's part of the interview. But a lot of that, everything checks out. You get out there and it's a big disappointment.
Yeah. So let's back up a little bit here. So for the individual that's watching this right now, and they're like, man, this is interesting. Like, I want to get into this. What are the proper steps to getting involved in mobile home investing?
Learn as much as you can. And I say that lightly because I've said that before and people get into this idea of, I got to know everything. I call that procrastination. You're never going to be fully ready. So, but I would say learn as much as you can about what you're trying to do with the mobile home and focus on the numbers. The numbers are what decides whether it's a good deal, good investment or not.
Okay. So, park managers, because you specifically invest in mobile home parks, right? You're not really looking for the mobile homes that are on individual lots, private land. So, with mobile home parks, park managers, they're like the gatekeepers to mobile home parks, right? You want to have a good relationship with them. How are you developing that relationship to keep that relationship good so that way they don't ruin your deal or just ruin what you got going on in the park?
Park managers can make or break you, no doubt. And trying to sneak a quick one behind them is never going to work out. I've seen investors where I'll make a quick sale, just won't tell them about it. They may not find out. Mobile home parks are a community. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody talks, so they will know. To build that business relationship, it takes time. It takes a while. But I always say, do what you say you're going to do, and then some, because you got to constantly be on the right side of it. Don't ever try to bypass them either. I have business relationships with park owners, which those are a little bit differently then. But I don't ever try to bypass a park manager. There are park rules and regulations, and I let them know. Everybody abides by them, including myself. So it's always holding them a little above. I think works best.
So you want to make sure you have a solid relationship with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you don't want them.
No. And they're my boots on the ground many times, so I need them.
Do you ever pay them extra money for what they're doing for you, or?
Glad to, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, so a lot of the areas that we invest, I don't have time to travel to South Carolina, then Florida, then, I will, wherever it's needed. But I have to have boots on the ground to oversee, whether it's a tenant, it's a rehab. So, again, park managers are already there. So many times it could be a small little one flat pay or a little salary or just whatever is needed.
Yeah, dude, that's important, man. Because a lot of people that get into this, they don't understand how important it is to have that relationship with the park manager. Because, like you said, they can make or break you.
Yep.
So, dude, when it comes to this stuff, man, like we're in this mobile home park. We're in a mobile home right now. We're shooting this episode right now in a mobile home. In the back of my mind, I'm like, why would a park owner want to deal with a guy like Jose, right? But then as you tour us around and you explain everything, it makes perfect sense. You're like a business partner.
Yeah.
You're doing the stuff that they don't want to do. You're doing the dirty work.
They don't have time to do.
Right.
Yeah.
So explain why a park owner would want to come in and do business with you.
Absolutely. So, I've asked many park owners some park, like this park owner this community, he has 11 parks. And he's looking for a lot more, is what he says. So, where is this cut off? I don't know. But some of the park owners that have one, especially a smaller park, I ask them, why haven't you invested in a second one, a third one? And their thing is always, I don't have enough time. I'm too busy dealing with these issues at this one mobile home or trying to beg somebody out. And some don't even have managers.
Yeah.
So it's like they are the full control. So when I bring, a pitch over to them, it's like, instead of being a landlord, because it's essentially what you are, is you have a business, you own the land, but you're a landlord. So why don't you allow me and my investors, our students, to come in and take all these mobile homes that you have on the land? Let us rehab them. Let us fix the issues with the mobile homes, and let us just pay you every month X amount, whatever lot rent may be. So in a sense, you own the land and dirt. That's all you got to manage. Doesn't take much to do that, and we will take care of all the mobile homes in a community. This frees your time and secures you monthly payment.
Yeah.
Now you can venture onto other parks.
And then when they venture on other parks, they're going to want to call you again to come in.
The circle. Yep.
Yeah. Dude, that's so smart. It's because on the outside looking in, before talking to you today, I'm like, why? I don't understand why a park owner would do that and not just do it himself. But it makes perfect sense because they're saving on rehab costs. They don't have to go deal with finding tenants.
Yep.
None of that stuff. And if you got a park manager and then you got you, they just sit back, sip their coffee, and collect a check every single month. That's it.
Yep.
I mean, that's beautiful. So, are you doing this nationwide?
So the goal within the next 5 years is nationwide. We're currently covering the whole Southeast, South North Carolina, Tennessee, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, where we're at, of course. We dipped into Mississippi and Louisiana, and we are currently in Ohio as well. So, but yes, Texas is next, Arizona, New Mexico. We're trying to venture out further west. So we will within, I hope, less than 5 years, but 5 years nationwide.
How are you going to manage all that stuff? Just build relationships?
Build relationships, a lot of connections, a lot of partners, and a lot of boots on the ground.
You ever deal with disgruntled park owners or park managers that are like, get the hell out of here?
The longest I've ever attempted to get into a community park was 6 months. And that was Athens, Georgia. I would say go Dogs, but I'm not a football fan. But, So, well, here's the thing, and I coach people on this is because I've asked investors, like, what do you do when somebody tells you no? And some have to say, screw them, I don't need them. Wrong. That's the wrong attitude. Because the reason why a park manager would say go away or we don't need you is somebody before you has talked it up big and did nothing. Maybe left them in a worse condition. So what happens is when you come in, and park managers have told me this, is you're another one of those. Another one of those. You're another one of those little investors that comes in here and messes up stuff for us. But what happens is when you follow up, that's the key there is follow up is key, is I keep calling them every couple of weeks. Hey, I know you don't work with investors, but I'm in the area, this is what I can do. And after a while, they'll say, we have one. If you want to come in and check it out, that's my foot in the door. That's all I need. The one in Athens, it went from basically what you said to we don't need you here, don't ever come by here. To it was a ugly little first interview, if you will. But then after they let me in and they see that okay, this guy's legit, he's doing what he's saying, he's making their part better, and after a while, that same community now calls me. They say we got more mobile homes coming available. So they're not really supposed to say we got evictions coming up, and then we'll show the specifics, but. So and so may be being evicted. If you want to check out, maybe they'll sell to you. So it went from no, get out of here to now I'm their go-to guy. Because if they've been burnt by investors and they allow me in, once I'm in, I'm their only go-to. I have no competition.
So, dude, what's your angle on all this? You planning on owning a park or?
Yeah. So this 2022, we look pretty hard on owning our own park. I think everything is a little above market right now. Just people are asking for crazy numbers. Now we've wholesaled a few parks in the past, which one of them I should have kept myself. I kicked myself in the back for that, but live and learn, I guess. But 2023, we will. I'm aiming for 3 parks this year.
What kind of skills do you need to do what you do as far as mobile home investing and dealing with park owners? Do you need to be a good communicator, a good problem solver? Like, what are those foundational skills that you need to be successful at this?
I would say learn how to sell. Everything you do is a sell. If I'm buying, I'm selling myself. If I'm selling, I'm selling a home. So, but absolutely, you got to be a problem solver because that's what we do. Is when I come into a community and become partners in a sense with a park owner, is things they didn't. And I mean, some of these guys have been owning parks for 20 years, and I show them certain ways to solve, and it's like, oh, so it's like be an open opportunity to that. But sell and be a problem solver.
So, how many parks do you have your hands on right now?
How many parks?
Yeah.
Oh wow, probably well over 100 parks we do business. In. Yes.
In just the southeast.
Just the southeast, yeah.
How many mobile homes do you currently?
I like 100 portfolio, so that is because we do every exit strategy. Wholesale flips, we move them in, but those are come and goes. What I don't want to do is go to bed not worrying about where's my next paycheck. That's what we did in corporate America, which is why I left. So I want to have a good 100 mobile homes, whether it's a mixture of rentals, lease options, notes. I know on the first of the month, here comes the paychecks. That's my security.
So when someone's coming into this, like, what would you say is the biggest, like, mistake that people make when they start out doing this?
Overpaying for a mobile home. Yeah. So if you don't know the numbers, and that is a big mistake that a lot of people make, is how do you make an offer on something you don't know the value?
Right.
They can't answer me that. They'll say, "Hey, Jose, I got this one mobile home, and I offered 8,000." I said, "Based on what?" Well, they wanted 10,000. Well, that's called negotiation, but that doesn't make it a good deal. So if you ever pay for the mobile home, you could be setting up yourself for failure from the get-go. You have to know the numbers and you have to offer. You can't really do a whole lot to wiggle numbers in the sense of rehab material holding. So the only number that can come down is the cost of the mobile home. Stop overpaying for mobile homes.
So how are they comping? Like, how would I go comp a mobile home in a park? Because when it comes to single family homes, I can look at recent sales in the neighborhood. That's all public data. But someone selling a mobile home in a park, usually you're not going to find that out. So how would somebody comp and know what a trailer is actually worth?
Park managers.
Okay.
And we're back. So I want to call the park managers in an area and ask them, hey, what is a 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom single or double wide? What do they go for when they sold in the past 30, 60, 90 days?
Got you. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. What about, how do you find out what the rents are in the area? Same thing?
Park managers. They are a key to go to. I mean, they're in the area. Most park managers actually live in the community.
Yeah.
They've been there. And I mean, they might have been there many, many years before they became park managers. So they're well aware of all their surroundings.
Yeah.
So I call them. And if not, I'll do some research online. You can go to rental rates. Worst case scenario, if I can't find any, which I don't see how you couldn't, find the nearest apartment complex. And it's typically 1 bedroom, 1 bath compared to that on a mobile home.
Gotcha. So, dude, transitioning a little bit, I ask every guest on my podcast this. Content, right? Why is content so important? Because I see you out there, I see you branding yourself. I see you constantly, posting valuable stuff about the mobile home investing world. Why is content so important?
Credibility. Credibility. I mean, when I reach out to some of these park owners, especially new ones in new areas, which, I'll have to do again in a new state, many times I say, do you have a website or do you have, so I'll send them my website, which has access to all my social media. Consistency. Whatever's on Instagram is on Facebook, is on TikTok, is on LinkedIn. So they see this and they see reviews, they see connections, and this guy's the real deal.
Yeah.
So it speaks for itself.
So it's like your new business card.
There you go.
Are you on YouTube and all the social media platforms?
Gotta be. Yeah, all of them. Yeah, even started out TikTok, which I'm not as big yet, but YouTube gotta be. That's where most of our content videos are.
And you mentioned you got a coaching program too.
We coach people. Yep. So I coach everyday people how to get into the mobile home space.
Okay. Awesome. How can people get a hold of you, dude?
GarciaMHU.com. That's the best way.
Gotcha. So, guys, that brings us to the end of this. I hope you guys got a lot of value. If you did, please like, share, subscribe, comment your favorite part about this. You guys know how to get a hold of Jose. And until then, I will see you guys on the next episode.